We've been focusing on the 4th anniversary of the assassination of whistleblower Babita Deokaran. A remembrance plaque, I beg your pardon, will be unveiled or has been unveiled at the former housing complex in Winchester Hills, Johannesburg, in honor of her courage and sacrifice. Deokaran was assassinated on the 23rd of August 2021 after blowing the whistle on massive fraud and corruption at the Tembisa Hospital in Ekurhuleni. She died in a hail of bullets outside her complex after dropping off her daughter at school. SABC News reporter Neria Hlakotsa joins us live from that complex once again. Neria, we did see the family speak a bit earlier on today, thanking everyone for coming out, really trying to keep the legacy of what she did 4 years ago alive, in wanting to, bring out the truth of what was taking place at Tembisa Hospital. Has that plaque been unveiled yet?
Well, Kathrada, I will tell you that we only held a ceremony here outside the place where Babita Deokaran was murdered almost 4 years ago now. In fact, 4 years ago, we only had speeches from the family. We also heard from the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. We also heard from Zolinzi Mavavi also. But the gist here that is coming out is that issue of the mastermind behind her killing. The family was at pains to say the way they wanted Babita dead. They did not only hire one hitman, two hitmen, they in fact hired all 6 of them. And that goes to show that she was really on the money. She had nabbed the right people. You must know this was millions that she exposed, and she exposed pretty powerful people, and of course it seems like these 6 hitmen have been following her around before that fateful day. And we heard the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation also saying that even next year they will be here to continue to honor her. A message, however, from the family that came out is to the president of the country, the family saying that they are asking the president to speed up these investigations. They are asking the president to get involved and not just let Babita die and there's no further answers to her death. Kathrada, I want to bring in the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation. Neeshan, thank you so much. You are part of the organizations that are here today. It's very significant that this is being done outside Babita's home, given that this is where she was last alive before those gunmen shot at her.
No, it's important. This is the site where she was assassinated, and it's a site that we hope will be turned into a permanent site of memory with the placement of a memorial plaque here. But that requires the consent of the people the tenants of this complex, because we think that keeping a memory alive is important up until such time that we can safely say that corruption has been eradicated from at least Tembisa Hospital and perhaps from Gauteng Health completely.
And of course, when we speak of Tembisa Hospital and the Gauteng Department of Health, speaker after speaker was saying it seems like getting rid of this corruption is harder, even though Babita had left a trail in terms of where the investigators need to look. What do you think needs to happen now? This trail is there. We heard also Jeff Weeks' book. In fact, the SIU saying if they follow that book, a lot of convictions can be done.
We hope so. We are mindful that details in a book is not necessarily evidence. So we hope that the law enforcement agencies, the prosecuting authorities, will use the information in there to strengthen whatever case they have. However, Babita did leave a huge trail of information. Fortunately, from News 24, they were able to retrieve a lot of that when in fact the police hadn't done that, or the law enforcement agencies hadn't done that themselves for about 8 months. Didn't look at a phone, didn't look at a computer. But that information they now have. Why things have taken as long as they have is anybody's guess. But it's common cause with cases in this country for it to be dragged along up until such time that something new replaces it and the headlines change. Which is why we will gather here for as long as it's necessary. This issue won't go away, we won't go away, until such time that we feel that this family has closure. Corruption has spread, as you've heard from Advocate Mothibi. We look forward to the release of their report, because I think it will confirm that what might have started in Tembisa has now spread all across this province and maybe beyond. And we need to be mindful that corruption will grow when it is not acted upon by those who have the authority and the law behind them to do so.
And I think we should also touch on the issue of whistleblowers, because when you look at Babita Deokaran's death, this could have made other South Africans to say, I can't blow the whistle, I don't want to end up dead like Babita. What do you say in terms of the protection and the importance of protecting whistleblowers?
We must be mindful that there are a range of municipal officials in the last few years who've been killed. There are auditors from the private sector who have been killed and injured. There are day-to-day people within departments who get intimidated when they try to raise their voice, which is why the legislation around whistleblowers is so important for that to be finalized and to be implemented. It's one thing in this country to finalize new laws, but to implement it and implement it effectively is perhaps going to be the bigger challenge. But hopefully we get past the first hurdle with revised legislation and then ensure that that gets effected. However, that's not going to stop, in my view, the numbers of people who are going to be affected negatively by their exposure. Whistleblowers will only be not needed in this country when corruption is eradicated. And that's as much as we want legislation for whistleblowers. We need to be also calling for the complete eradication of corruption, both from the private and public sector.
Neeshan, thank you so much for your time. There you have it, Kathrada. The issue of whistleblowers also becoming something very important. When it comes to their protection, the country has been saying that they are not protected. And that's another issue that came from the family to say Babita was trying to save the state, was trying to save taxpayers' money, but she was not protected. Kathrada, I'm just looking back here just to see if I could get Advocate Mothibi, but it looks like he is still busy in another interview. But I wanted him to give us an update in terms of their investigations, in terms of what they have uncovered. He did indicate that there will be a report that they will be releasing about the syndicate that exists even in the Tembisa Hospital, and they also have a fear that this rampant corruption could have spread to other parts of the country. So you see, he was basically telling the family that they should not worry, they are onto it, and they are hoping that there will be people who are arrested, and there will also be officials, in fact, who work for government who will also be dismissed. And he says in their report, these are some of the things that they are recommending, that these officials that are involved need to, in fact, be also just, dismissed from their job. And Kathrada, because he's still busy with talking, I think we can just for now cross back to you, and you can see perhaps that the families are still gathering around. Now it's just a matter of people talking and just reliving the memory and the moment. We can see justice for Babita there. We can also see there's flowers, like the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation had said that a plaque will be erected, but they still just need to get that permission from some of the occupants here, Kathrada. But I'm also now going to bring in the advocate who is finally here, just to give us their update in terms of how far they've come and what are some of the things that they have uncovered? Okay, he was just slowly speaking to the family, and yeah, I think he can join us now. Advocate, thank you so much for your time. You spoke about the developments that you've made as the unit. Maybe let's just speak about where are we in terms of investigations. You talked about arrests.
Yes.
You talked about officials that need to be suspended or fired. Give the viewers an assurance that you are on top of this.
We are on top of this. In fact, I was stating earlier on that I met a day before yesterday as finalizing this interim report that will go to the president. And I need to just say to the public that these reports, of course, go to the president coming from SIU investigations, so to speak. But we are really pleased that the president has permitted SIU to release this report and other reports that we've worked on. And that is the transparency which we really want to demonstrate to the public. So sometime in September, we will be releasing the report relating to the Department of Health, in particular Tembisa Hospital. Where are we? As we speak, we've uncovered syndicates really up to, from the evidence we've seen, they are hard at work. You know, they have siphoned billions of rands from the Tembisa Hospital through corruption processes. We have found that there's about, up to now, more than 111 officials that have been involved, colluding with these syndicates. We know their method of operation, the modus operandi. We want to stop it in their track.
My colleague Neria Hlakotsa, in conversation with the SIU's advocate Andy Mothibi, about developments in the investigation which is still ongoing into the assassination of Babita Deokaran. We're going to try to establish that link as well. Quite important we find out how far they are in terms of investigations. It has been ongoing.